All right, hi scholars. So I'm gonna go over a few questions from your IP. Notice that these are from both last Tuesday and Thursday's IP. So I'm just gonna make one video explaining the most asked question from skill 35. So from Tuesday homework, those are number 1C, 1D, and Thursday homework it will be number 3C and letter I don't know 3C and 3D. And why is this kid doing this? Hopefully it stays on the focus. And then you're gonna take skill 45 and 35, 47, 35 assessment after this. So if I were you, I'll probably pay attention. All right, so let's start with the first part, homework, letter C and letter D. All right, so let's start with the letter C. We are looking at inverse of sine of negative square root of 2 over 2. So that's what we are trying to find it. So I'm just going to let it equal to whatever variable you want. I don't know, C. Why not? So what does that mean? That means we are trying to find sine of C is equal to negative square root of 2 over 2. Right? Because inverse means you switch x and y. So this is what it's asking you to do. And notice all these values are come from the unit circle. So we need to look at the unit circle in a second. All right. So how do you find the C? Well, you have to remember how do you find the sine value on the unit circle? So let's just review a little bit. Sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, cotangent. How do you find the sine value? We look at the y value in the unit circle. Cosine, x value, tangent, y over x, and these are all the reciprocal of that, 1 over y, 1 over x, x over y. So since we're looking for the sine value, we are looking at the y value on the unit circle. All right, that's one thing you need to remember. All right, what else do we need to remember? Remember, for the inverse trig function, there is the restriction going on. Yeah. All right, this is a sine function. So for the inverse sine function, what is the restriction? Your y has to be greater or equal to negative half the pi, but less than equal to half the pi. So where would that be on your unit circle? Let's see. Greater or equal to negative half the pi is this much, or about less than equal to half the pi. So it has to fall in right here. Okay, so remember that y. So let's look at the unit circle and find out what it is. Okay, so which value gives you y value of the negative square root of 2 over 2? Let's see, so from here, which one has a y value of negative square root of 2 over 2? That y value is negative square root of 2 over 2, so what's the answer? 7/4 the pi. No. All right, I need to make one correction for those who watch my lesson. The answer is not 7/4 the pi. Why is not answer 7/4 the pi? Because remember, we have said y has to be less than equal to half the pi. Well, 7/4 the pi is a lot bigger than half the pi. So what are you going to do? You're going to find the coterminal angle by subtracting 2 pi or subtracting 1/4 pi, as you wish, and then to get the answer of negative 1/4 the pi. So your answer has to fall into this region. So sometimes you have to find the coterminal angle. Okay? All right, let's look at letter D, equal to C again. Write it as a regular secant function. So this means secant of C is equal to negative 2 square root of 3 over 3. Now let's go ahead and find what the C value is. How do I do it? There are actually, what I don't like about this problem is, well, secant is a little confusing. Like, how would I find the secant on the unit circle? It's a 1 over x. So it can be a little confusing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to convert this to cosine function. Why? Because secant and cosecant are reciprocal of one another. So instead of this, I'm going to reciprocalize it. 3 over negative 2 square root of 3. And then let's clean up a little bit. I get 3 square root of 3 over negative square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Simplify negative square root of 3 over 2. So I got cosine of something is equal to negative square root of 3 over 2. That makes it a little easier, right? So how do I do it? Well, cosine is the x value. So which angle gives you x value on the unit circle? So negative square root of 3 over 3. And another thing you have to remember is this is the cosine function. So where is the restriction going on for the cosine? Y has to be greater or equal to 0, less than equal to pi. So my answer has to fall in this one right here. So let me write it down. Okay, so on my unit circle, which angle has an x value of negative square root of 3 over 2? X value. Where is it? Oh, right here. Sorry. I was like, what is happening? All right, well, so what's the angle? 5/6 to pi. So I write it here, and then let's double check it one more time. Does 5/6 to pi fall between 0 and pi? Yes, so that's the answer. Okay? All right, so that was done with the part 1. Now let's go over questions from part 2. Number 3, C and D. I will try to move it up a little bit so you guys can see that. Let's do letter C first. We have tangent of inverse of sine of 4x going on over here. And for this question, we need to draw a diagram to describe the situation. All right, so let's start from the inside. So sine of inverse of 4x, let's see, we are going to draw the right triangle. For the right triangle, we need to remember the SOHCAHTOA. So sine is what? Opposite over hypotenuse. Well, how do I write 4x as opposite over hypotenuse? All you need is just make it over 1. So when you draw your right triangle, your opposite side is 4x, your hypotenuse is 1. Are we good so far? Yeah? All right. I need to find the tangent of this angle right here. How do I find tangent of that angle? Well, tangent of angle theta is going to be TOA. SOHCAHTOA. So I need opposite over adjacent. Well, do we know what adjacent side is? No, we don't. So that's what we are trying to find here. So let's go ahead and find it. How do I find the adjacent side here? Let the adjacent side be C. This is a right triangle, so it's all related to all the length. I can use the Pythagorean Theorem. So C squared plus 4x squared is equal to 1 squared. C squared plus 16x squared is equal to 1. C squared is 1 minus 16x squared. C is, well, technically there should be plus or minus, but they're looking at the length, so it's always going to be positive, and plus it's a hypotenuse, so it's always going to be positive. So there excuse me, not hypotenuse, adjacent side. So, because it's a positive x value. So C is going to be 1 minus 16x squared. So now let's go ahead and find the tangent of theta. Opposite side 4x over adjacent side, 1 over 16x squared is going to be the answer. Is that correct answer? Let me double check that. Yep. All right. Now on to letter D. Cosine of inverse of tangent of x plus 1 going on. Start from the inside. Okay, so inverse of tangent of x plus 1, I'm probably going to put it over 1, is equal to SOHCAHTOA, or opposite over adjacent. So I draw my right triangle. Opposite side is x plus 1, adjacent side is 1. Let's go ahead and find the hypotenuse side using the Pythagorean Theorem. 1 squared plus x plus 1 squared is equal to whatever this is, c squared. I notice on the answer key things are not simplified, but if you're I'll probably want you guys to simplify as further as much as possible. What do I mean by that? I need you to just simplify, FOIL this out. So what do I mean? 1 squared is 1, x plus 1 is x plus 1 times x plus 1, and actually distributed all of that. X squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to c squared. X squared plus 2x plus 2 is equal to c squared. That means c is square root of x squared plus 2x plus 2. So there is your hypotenuse. Now, we'll go back to the question. What are we trying to find? We're trying to find the cosine. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent is what? Adjacent side is 1 over hypotenuse side, square root of x squared plus 2x plus 2. There you go. Which looks a little different than the final answer you got on your answer key, but this is actually better. So I like this one. Okay? All right, so that is that. Now you can go ahead and take your assessment. Good luck, and yeah, bye.